Hello, everyone. Marianne here from Revealing Light Tarot Astrology and Spirituality. As always, a shout out to wherever you are in the world when you're watching this. I just completely love the fact that we've got viewers from all over the globe. So welcome wherever you are living. Welcome to my channel, Revealing Light Tarot Astrology and Spirituality. Okay, so I promised an eclipse, a lunar eclipse reading. I will do that. I also promised a look at the coronation of King Charles on Saturday. I'll do that in this reading as well. So let's start with the eclipse. Depending on where you are in the world, it's either May 5th or May 6th, around 7:34 p.m. beginning Eastern Standard Time, and of course May 6th if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, 3:34 a.m. Now, it's known as a prenumbral eclipse, and it is in the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio. I say that with a smile on my face. I have a lot of Scorpio in my chart, Venus and Neptune both in Scorpio. And I have a lot of activity in the 8th house. And if you know from watching me, you'll understand why I've had my rebirths, transformations, and pretty heavy going health issues. But it's all about, with Scorpio, it's all about intensity, of course, and it's all about that transformation process. It's things coming to a conclusion, and then we see the new beginning. And both, if I look at what's going on globally, as Pluto moved into Aquarius this year and will regress back into Capricorn briefly before it moves into Aquarius in 2020, early 2024, for the next couple of decades. We are very much concerned with wrapping up what needs to be wrapped up. Now, for you and for me, it can affect us in highlighting what we need to let go of. And with all things astrology, we get help to do that, given that the other planets and their placements are either forcing us, giving us the impetus to look at what we need to let go of and also what we need to retain, but also being gentle on ourselves. Now, Scorpio is also a very, very complex sign. So nothing about this time, and given that the effects of this eclipse will go through May, nothing about this time is easy. Nothing about it is simple. Nothing about it is straightforward. There seems to be, from me intuitively looking on, layer upon layer upon layer, no matter which country we go to. But the underlying theme is bringing those things that need to be brought to an end. We see that in what is going on in the US with the trials and tribulations of the former President Trump. And each day it seems we hear another truth emerge. These are truths that need to emerge. These are truths that we are actualizing. Why are we doing that as a collective? We need to bring this era to a close. We also need to learn the lessons from it. And that's on both sides of politics. We need to understand why these things are happening. This is a president that's under multiple investigations, and no, it's not political. This is because he was a rule breaker and alleged lawbreaker. So we have now a special counsel looking at obstruction of justice and his taking and withholding of classified documents. It seems now he's interviewing witnesses for that are attached, the Trump security chiefs at Trump Org, his own private business, that look after security at Mar-a-Lago, apparently, allegedly, for tampering with surveillance footage. Now, the question is, why would they do that? You do that if you had something to hide. So we've got E. Jean Carroll case, historic rape, alleged rape case. The information that's coming out of that is looking, is again taking us back to 2016 and the emergence of these women that came forward accusing Trump of sexual assault and, in E. Jean Carroll's case, rape. So we are also revisiting his payments, hush money payments to a porn star. These things that may have tipped the election in his favor, which actually are allegedly, he broke the law in order to do that. All of this matters. All of this will bring historic context into the situation. We have the ongoing invasion of Ukraine, and now Russia accusing Ukraine and the US of a drone strike on the Kremlin. How that little old drone made it 600 kilometers across Russia without being shot down. Oh, I really don't know. It appears in the footage the drone wasn't designed to do too much damage. So we have the fractured leadership in Russia and of the Russian army, and we have the splintering of that leadership and an increasing desperate Vladimir Putin. We have as I said, in the UK, this, for monarchists, a wonderful occasion in the crowning on Saturday of King Charles. That chart is extremely interesting, but I'll get to that a bit later. Let's stay with the eclipse in Scorpio and have a quick look at that chart while we're here, because what it highlights to me, now I've cast this chart over Washington, as I tend to do. I've got a lot of viewers in the US, and so it's this particular house where the planets are falling in what houses will be specific to Washington. However, if I was to look at a non-locational chart, if I took Greenwich in England, we would be looking, the planets would still be in the same alignments. We'd still have those aspects. We just wouldn't be able to look at what houses they were in. So I've cast it over Washington. But bear in mind, when you look at King Charles's chart, you'll see the same conglomeration of planets, just in a different house. But let's go to Washington first. Now, this great conglomeration of planets and they're hard hitting. We've had the sun here, and Uranus still in Taurus conjunct for quite a few years now, and we have Mercury they're the planet of communication, and the North Node and Jupiter, all Jupiter expansion. Jupiter, of course, is in Aries. The North Node still in Taurus and about to move to Aries and Libra. The nodes are about to change. Still, though, in Taurus at this time. So in the third house is communication. And if we look at where our old friend Pluto is, and you see all these red lines, remember conflict, squaring, Pluto just inside Aquarius in a new beginning, really challenging. Pluto bringing the what is hidden from underneath, challenging, I guess, us to look at, to bring forward the information that is of the most beneficial to the collective. And what is that? That is the truth, the facts, the law in its most, I guess, I won't say pure, because I don't know that the law's ever pure, because there are multiple ways of judging things. But the law as it stands, the democratic law as it stands at this time, Pluto is challenging to bring for the good, for the sustainability of the collective, to bring forward the truth. And aren't we seeing so many truths coming forward? Now, what's happening with the moon here? The moon is, of course, obviously opposite the sun. It's an eclipse. But we have Uranus conjunct here. It has moved into the fourth house. And we have Scorpio here up in the 10th, public life, politics, the public image of things. in Scorpio. So you're getting a whole whammy of what was attempted to be hidden coming to the surface. We've had these incredible defamation suits being brought through Dominion and Smartmatic, the voting machine software people, businesses, and most recently against Murdoch. And we had a whole treasure trove in the discovery process of that civil trial, a whole treasure trove of truth coming out around prominent anchors and Murdoch himself. And this is all part of Pluto moving into Aquarius. We astrologers keep telling you that things are going to happen for both the good and, unfortunately, there's always two sides of the coin, the good and the bad for the collective. But we're seeing in the US a lot of truth emerging, and it's like a purging. It's like we've got to get things out in the open to really look at them so we can make those decisions. E. Jean Carroll, civil alleged rape and defamation case, I've read on that before. I will take a deep dive on her astrology chart because she, again, is made for this moment in time. She is shining a light on the kind. Now he's not been found guilty of this, but something happened in that dressing room, and it was according to E. Jean Carroll's testimony and those that she contemporaneously called after the event. It was harrowing and it was violent. And this is coming to the fore. This is not the first allegation we've heard against Trump. For this kind of forcing of himself onto vulnerable women. And so it's putting a spotlight onto what sort of a man is this person, and combining that with the multiple criminal investigations and a criminal indictment and win against his own Trump org for tax fraud, where we've got this picture. It's not only being built up, it's being rammed home time and time again. And each time that happens, more of his support pulls away. He becomes more desperate and outspoken, and some would say deranged. And we understand that really there's not a snowflake's chance in hell that he can win a federal election legally. So this is all part of the coming forward and the letting go of what is no longer serving us. Now, there's these wonderful trines here too, from Neptune in Pisces. Again, something coming into form. What are we creating? To the moon in Scorpio. If we want to create something good, we've got to let go of the old. And this, again, and this is really pertinent to the United States because they're very Cancerian, really. Cancer is the cardinal water sign, and we most associate that with feeling. Mars is in Cancer in the 6th house. We are feeling the unhealth because the 6th house is about health and public service and work. We're feeling how unhealthy things have become. And we understand at a very intuitive level that the only way forward is to let go of what is no longer serving us. And in the US, and I would say to a fair degree in other Western democracies, we understand the toxicity of our politics. We understand that this, moving to the extremes, whether that's extreme left or extreme right, and disenfranchising a whole bunch of voters is not the way forward. Now, you can't please everyone all of the time, but in the tarot we have the beautiful temperance card, which is all about moderation. And so you can achieve some sort of consensus with the right kind of bringing people in and trying to find a consensus. So we are in the process of creating a healthier political environment, even though it doesn't seem like that. This isn't an overnight thing, is it? Pluto moves slowly. It's only just in Aquarius. It has to have its time to move through. This might not even be for my generation. This might be for the generation below or the current, the generation coming up. And so, yeah, for us personally, use your intuition about what you need to let go of. I think it's a very introspective time for all of us around the eclipse. And if you're anything like me, I'm having these huge dreams, all concerning the house. The house, of course, is the archetype for, in my interpretation, the mind, the conscious and the subconscious, the rooms of the house, front rooms, conscious, back rooms, subconscious. What is in your subconscious, perhaps, that you have been not looking at? Maybe for some of us intuitive souls, we are getting signals about what we need to look at, what has remained hidden, and what we need to let go of. And this is all about transformation. This is the Scorpio way about transformation. So let's go to, if I can get the coronation chart. This is an extremely, coronation is happening Saturday, well, my Saturday, so it might be your Sunday. Is it this one? Let's have a look. This is an extremely potent chart. So I've cast this in London, England for, let me see, 9:14 p.m. Or universal time 21:14. Sorry, the coronation's at 11 a.m. Charles, that's Charles, previous, the inner circle is Charles' natal chart. That's when he was born. And the outer chart, of course, is his coronation on Saturday, 6th of May at 11 a.m. In London, England. So now that we've got that straight, let's just talk briefly about this chart before I move into the tarot. Do you not find it coincidental, to say the least, that the day of his coronation is just after or on the lunar eclipse, and his north node, his north node, his natal north node, is in the 10th house alongside his moon, and it is conjunct with the transiting north node. So this is a chart of destiny. This is a chart that he was always going to be crowned king in his lifetime, albeit coming very late. He is a Scorpio. The eclipse is in Scorpio. The moon often is seen as the archetype of the mother. And so this coronation for Charles is going to be a very complex and I think intense emotionally for him as well. He will have thoughts of his mother. I mean, his mother is his role model. She always was. She was a Taurian as well. So you get a double whammy in his chart about the importance of his mother. He will be thinking of her tomorrow. And in Scorpio, an intense, complex, layered time for him. He will always also feel the burden of the crown on his shoulders. He is in his mid to late 70s, and he is now becoming king for the first time. His life will change. There will be restrictions on him, particularly in the way that he communicates. Now, if we look down at his natal chart, his sun in Scorpio, Mercury is alongside there as well. He is the quintessential Scorpion. When you speak to him, he will be intense. He can also have a sting in his tail. And that is in the 4th house, which also represents home. So his along with Venus, of course, in Libra, he is a man that wants to get things done for England, for the United Kingdom. He is somebody that is very driven to bring to an end perhaps regressive or regressive. Well, he's limited, isn't he? Can't make policy, but he can talk about what needs to change. But he is now the king. In the past, he's a vocal advocate of mitigating climate change. He lives and breathes that in his waking hours and in the way that he lives. I think his cars are powered by the crops that he grows on his Duchy of Cornwall land. But there are going to be limitations on him because Mercury is opposite his north node. So his life is going to change. Now, if we look at his Mars in Sagittarius, I think along with Jupiter might be just in Sag at 29 degrees in the 5th house, along with Chiron, also in Scorpio. But the 5th house is expression. And we also get, and Sagittarius is very future-oriented looking. There is a trine here to Pluto in Leo. This is a very, very complex person in his 1st house. Leo is, of course, outgoing, can be a little bit self-absorbed, the center of the party. Charles wants people to listen to him. So he was always destined to be king, but his life will change. And on this day of the coronation is going to be quite intense for him. He has, like many other families, family issues. And no, I don't want to hear you hate this one or you hate that one. I really don't want to hear it. I'm not interested in it. Mars is in Cancer in the 12th. So transiting Mars is in his 12th house, which is Cancerian. So he might decide to forgive. This could also be a day of forgiveness or a time of forgiveness for him. Now, I want to go up to the transiting just for the UK in general, the eclipse here, and all these transiting planets in Taurus and the North Node in the 10th house of public image. Charles's coronation is good for the United Kingdom. I keep saying England. It's a Freudian slip, isn't it? Because of my Scottish and Irish ancestry. But Charles's coronation is good for the UK. It's putting the spotlight on the UK. It's bringing forward Taurus is very determined. It's a fixed sign, and it is the one that will keep things going when all else fails. And so this is giving a boost of confidence to the UK. It's putting the spotlight on the UK and perhaps saying that we're here for the long haul. Don't write us off. And so this is also an auspicious time for the country in general. His coronation puts a spotlight on the UK and the steadfastness of the Brits, the stoicness of the United Kingdom, the longevity of the United Kingdom. So it may not be any longer a great empire, but it is a force to be reckoned with still. And so this will buoy the United Kingdom, the citizens of the United Kingdom. And with this eclipse in Scorpio, again, something new is beginning. Something old, the era of Queen Elizabeth, God rest her beautiful soul and her service, that has ended and something new is beginning. I will guarantee you one thing, it will be a very intense reign of King Charles. So let's take a look at a couple of these questions. We'll go first to how the eclipse will impact globally, because we've got so much going on at this time. I'm using the Lunar Somnia Tarot, and I've got the Golden Tarot out as needed. And then we'll also ask, will Charles make a good King Charles? All right. So let's have a look at the eclipse first with this coming, this letting go and this coming, something new coming in. It's complex. We have to do that deep dive into what we have to let go, not only for ourselves, but for those around, the good of our community, the good of our collective. Show me, how will the eclipse impact globally, please? The eclipse in Scorpio. So straight away, Spirit always guides me and helps me in these readings. We've got the moon itself. So we have this emotional, this is a very emotional, introspective time. The moon is also representing the soul along with the emotions. Now, emotions can be both volatile and restrained, can be both hidden and expressed positively, and can be expressed negatively as well. We have a number of things happening in the US. The Proud Boys, members of the Proud Boys convicted of sedition. And so these are huge. Remember the dog whistles from the former president to the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers, and the way that their capital was stormed. These are emotions now that are coming to the surface. No, we're not being sold on, you know, the law. This is the DOJ has been weaponized and this is all a pot of crock. No, this is the law, and this is evidence, and this is before grand juries, before jury trials in the case of the Proud Boys, and the evidence has proven the crime. So the criminals. So there's that. There's that. There's also the introspection, the emotional introspection that we're all going through at this time. And the nine of cups, I'm pleased that came out. Cups, of course, is emotions. It's like what we wish for. So we've got volatility and also bringing things to the surface. For this reading is showing that it is going to bring our wishes, or some of our wishes, forward, not through some kind of magic wand, but through the work that we're doing at the moment. There are new starts, moon, endings, beginnings in Scorpio. The Page of Wands, it's about hearing. It's about telling our story. And that's what we're doing. We're telling the story of our times at this time. In the sky, we've got the Nine of Wands, guardrails, the need for guardrails. The Nine of Wands, it's a gift, really, this card. It brings forward weariness, but it brings forward the fight to establish those guardrails. Two of Cups, a unity and a coming together. I know that some of you will have mended a lot of fences lately. And this is there's also a spiritual contract that we're making at this time. The Two of Pentacles in the here and now, very much about decision time. Again, when we look at what we need to let go of, the active part of that is a decision. The environment around is justice. This is a karmic time, and it's up. We're deciding whether we achieve justice or not. Take that how you wish. Justice actually has to be worked on, doesn't it? The Two of Swords in the hopes and fears, the crossroads time, the heavy burdens, the decisions. This is all about decisions. And we have the World card. It's a hugely karmic, potent, destined time. The old giving way to the new cycles. And the Three of Wands, that's all of us. This is every single country is feeling the effects of Pluto moving from Capricorn to Aquarius. And we've got the toxicity and the greed. We've had another bank fail in America, and was their federal government stepped in, where we've had interest rate rises. That we have to make these adjustments. We have to make adjustments at this time. And they're good adjustments. They should be seen in that light, because we are carving out something better for ourselves. Let's look at, before I end this reading, will Charles make a good king? I've always said I don't see him long there. I'm not sure why, but I don't know. But he's certainly destined to be king. So let's have a look. Will Charles make a good king? So much he carries, this is the thoughts that I've been having. which comes sort of out of somewhere. There's a lot of baggage he carries with the Queen Consort, Princess Diana, Prince Harry, the Duchess, Meghan. There is baggage there, just as the Queen carried baggage during her era for the abdication of the King to marry Wallis Simpson. So these are family trials and tribulations that play out in public. But nevertheless, let's see, will Charles make a good king? Will he be wise enough to understand what he needs to let go of and what he needs to bring forward? So we have the Six of Swords here. That's a good card. That's transition, very much a time of transition. And the Ace of Coins. Again, check the previous tarot reading on the eclipse because there are overlapping messages here. The Two of Swords. So again, this fits in with the astrology. I always find that uncanny. It's a time of crossroads time in England. For their economy, for what Brexit gave them, for the good or ill. And he is being seen as a rock to bring them out of their current, I guess, lack of confidence, perhaps tumultuous. This is a time of change in the United Kingdom. The Seven of Swords is at the foundation. Yeah, there's adjustments that he will need to make, and that is at the foundation of the reading. If he is able to make them and find a way, he will blitz it. But it's like plan A won't work, so he's got to have a plan B, and it's the plan B that's actually going to work in this case. The Nine of Wands, world weariness. Again, a lot of these cards came up in the reading before. That's in the past. The Five of Swords is in the sky. So there's a lot of unrest in the United Kingdom at this time, and a lot of people worried, whether it's the National Health Service, the Tories, what has happened with Boris Johnson, the changing of leadership. And there's also been this sabotage as well. When you look at the Farages and the extremists, the same sort of sabotage and abuse of power that went on in America happened to a certain degree in the United Kingdom and Australia as well. The Strength card here, I like to see that in the immediate future. He will walk very strongly in the first part of his reign. The King of Wands in the here and now. This is his Pluto in Leo. Courageous, bold. This is what he is now, and he will bring that to his kingdom. The King of Cups is in the atmosphere around the wise king. I like this. This is his, okay, and it's strong. In the Hopes and Fears, we have the High Priestess. She has a book of secrets. So this is, he needs to find a way of stopping this constant scandal. It doesn't matter who is it about. He needs to have can't do things in the same old way with this cozy relationship with the tabloids. There needs to be something new here. There's secrets there that just undermined the monarchy all the time. Now we have 3 cups lost and 1 remaining as the outcome. The Four of Cups. He's going to find it hard to change his inherent character. I don't think he will, to be honest. And we have the King of Coins here. So this is also cost cutting as well. The time to be prudent financially. But he's got 3 kings here. And now we have the Queen of Cups. This is this Cancerian type of water energy here. She has something to reveal with the High Priestess, and so what has dogged him in the past may still dog him in the future, and that's the past. The past may be his issue. There's an issue here around women. and things coming forward that he'd rather not be known. But will he make a good king? Yes. He's got 3 kings and the strength card in his reading. He's got 1 ace. He presents this new start in a time of perhaps disappointment. He will be good for the United Kingdoms. I'm just going to say public perception, confidence. He comes at the right time with the ace of coins at the base of this reading, the Knight of Cups, something to offer, and working with the pillars of government. Yes, he's going to be actually good for the United Kingdoms. I'm just going to say economy in some way. It's intuitively, I feel that, because it brings forward a new day, a new start, and perhaps the Tories might be less willing to stifle climate change initiatives when they've got a king who's so committed to climate change. And renewables, as we all know, is where it's out. They're cost effective and they solve a lot of problems, both for the climate and for the cost side of things. So, yeah. But it's not going to be a walk in the park, but then being king or queen, I don't think ever is. Anyway, that's the reading for today. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back again with another reading soon. Bye for now.